you look at Coach with them adding Jacoby Myers, do you kind of get ready in a way that you mostly look at what he's done and kind of how that might look in this offense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they acquired him for a reason, and we've gone against some different iterations in the past. I think they'll have a package for him to get the ball. Obviously, whatever he can pick up, by all accounts, he's a pretty smart player and can get up to speed pretty quickly. So I would assume they're going to integrate him in the offense. Does a really good job, just route running underneath area. Obviously, they've mentioned his hands and his ability to catch the ball. So just another piece for them to put in their offense for sure.
Adjust for the absence of a player like Jalen Petrie. If he can't go, he does so much for you guys.
Yeah, just obviously whatever happens as he's in the protocol and going through that, like we're just trying to prep all our guys to get ready and have some, replacing any good player is hard, and any player that does a lot for us, like a lot of our guys do. He's one of them. It's going to take multiple people, you know what I mean? So we're just going to have some different packages, move some guys around if we need to, and go play ball.
To that point, to Jalen, just like what he's meant and how he's adapted and moved positions and just being willing to do everything.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, I don't know what else I can say. I mean, he's just been you guys probably have some sense of him as a person and a human being and what he is, and that just filters out into everything he does for the team. And never, hey, go do this, go play here, go play safety, go play nickel, go play inside the box, go do that, go play against the run. Yes sir, happy, smile on his face, and does it at an elite level. So just obviously just enjoyable player to be around, and he's working to get back on the field for us.
With that being said, how big of a blow is it for you all if you don't have him, but you've also lost rookie Jalen Smith?
That's the NFL, right? I mean, that's the NFL. I mean, I know their injury report looks just about the same as ours does, and we got a lot of good guys in the room and in that room and on the field. And like I said, it's going to take multiple players for us to step up. And but whoever steps on the field is going to be ready to play. We're preparing everybody to get going, and had a good couple days of practice so far. So we're excited for those guys to get their opportunity.
When you go back and you look at the film, what could have been done better on that play that Bo Nix got out on that scramble?
Yeah, I mean, it's multiple things. I mean, they moved the pocket on us. I think just obviously from a rush standpoint, the awareness level of it was not the first time they did that in the game in terms of trying to get him away from the rush and move the pocket. So whatever rush calls we're in or those things, we got to get balanced back up. And some of those things when it's just a different type of protection. So you're not rushing a normal protection when that happens. So you have to have some awareness there. And then in the back end when there's when your coverage responsibility is where it is, you can't over pursue your coverage responsibility and overflow things. And hopefully you have guys in the second level with some eyes that doesn't break out. If he does get out, that it's not obviously a 25-yard gain. So we've gone through some of those things, those guys in those situations. And, if that comes up again in terms of how we want to prepare for that.
If there was any real concern at all with Will, because and finish the game, but to have him back out there, must have kind of put a smile on your face to have him practicing today.
Sure did.
What's he mean to you guys?
Obviously he's having a great season. He's a great player for us. He's the engine, the heart of the team, the defense, I believe. And so obviously it's uplifting when he's out of practice and when he's playing for us. So we're excited to get him out there again this week.
We talked about Trevor's success in the past, getting the ball out quick, throwing the ball short.
Sure.
This kind of what are the things that are key in taking those opportunities?
Yeah, so same as always. Either you got to be sticky at times in coverage. You know what I mean? If we're off too far or there's space and whatever in zones or passing game that whatever coverage you're in, he'll take it. He's very good at seeing open space in the field and in zones and getting the ball out there. So when we are in zones, if we're matching up or we got to be tight in what we're doing, or if it's a time to be sticky or get man on man or body on, then we got to do that and try to take some of those throws away. So they've done a really good job. Again, schematically they do a good job of trying to create that space and just whatever tricks we combat in terms of them trying to get our guys off and motions and formations that try to put us in those positions. We've got to be aware of that and really just get stickier in some of those things. If there's open throws, it's going to be a long day for us. If we just let him get back there, hit his back foot, and get the ball out, that's what they're trying to do. We got to try to combat that for sure.
Matt, how do you balance you guys have some really good defensive performances. And you would say, well, it's not great, Kim, because we didn't win the game. But, the defense has played really, really well. And then there's a play here or there that isn't good enough. How do you talk about that with the players so it's continue to not get down on themselves or?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we are down on ourselves a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, we're 3-5 right now. I mean, that's what it is. So we haven't played good enough. I mean, we had every game that we've been in, we've had opportunities to close games out or to make plays, and we haven't. So I think that's the messaging, and I think our guys embrace that. You want to be great, like our guys embrace that challenge of, hey, it's 15-15 and the game's on the line, and they get the ball back with a minute, whatever it was left. Like, put us out there, let's go. Like that's what we want to be, and those are the positions we want to be in. And so we've got to find ways to close out those games. So as a team, we're 3-5, and we are disappointed, and we are down about that, and we're fighting and working to get back to better.
Why do you think and not that it's affected the defense much, because it's still having success, but why do you think the sack numbers aren't as high as they were perhaps last year?
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't chase sacks. I mean, I just think I would hope that most teams that play us are aware of our players up front and our rushers, and are doing everything they can to combat that. I would say we see a higher number of chips, whether people are moving the pocket on us, like the ball's getting out quick. A lot of quarterbacks we faced have done that type of thing anyway. So just the usual tricks. Again, like we're not trying to chase sacks. I mean, I think both Will and Daniil are pretty high in terms of disruption numbers and pressure numbers. And so, again, you start chasing sacks, then you get out of your lanes and bigger plays happen. So, we're not really hung up on sack numbers. We're trying to disrupt the quarterback and affect quarterbacks. And there's some things that we can't control that are handling that thing.
I guess that was my question. Like, are teams doing things differently? Are y'all focusing on different things and not that you all are chasing sacks? But that was my question.
No, we like sacks still. Let me make sure I'm clear about that. We do like sacks. So, I just think, again, that's how the game's been being played. And, again, if the ball's being thrown quickly or there's certain protections or certain things that are happening, then, I mean, that's out of our control. You can't again, we can't just manufacture sacks. So we're going to focus on making sure we're continuing to rush direct and rush better and surge the pocket. So I think I mentioned a few weeks ago, like when there are those couple ops that are true drop back passes that we are rushing. So we can't let the tactics used to slow us down. We can't let that slow us down. We got to keep, again, that's why we preach attack, get off the ball, relentless, nonstop, swarm, because you never know when the one play is where you're going to get your one-on-one. And if you're lax in that moment, or you're just thinking, I'm going to get chipped and you don't get chipped, or I think this is going to happen and it doesn't, then you miss your ops. So whatever ops we do get, we got to capitalize on and make sure that we're throwing heat every time.
You talked about some of the disappointment of 3-5 and understanding all that. Are there tone setters in preparation, tone setters in practice that you kind of turn to at this time and say, hey, man, let's...
No, I mean, I think, the messaging's always been the same. I mean, we can't, now we're going to play harder and do this stuff. You know what I mean? So, our messaging has been on the details of focusing that, making sure we're hitting these plays and making sure your eyes are in the right spot, or making sure you're getting off on your line on the rush, or putting your hands in the right place. Whatever those things are, we just keep going back to those details. I mean, again, every game we've been in has been a one-score game, right? It's been a tight game. Coming down in the fourth quarter, all those plays matter. So, I mean, that's the messaging. It's not like we got to do something more. You got to go outside your lane. It's, hey, every game we've been in is going to be close, and this one's probably going to be close too, if we're being honest, right? Let's make sure, when the plays are there to be made, we're making those plays. And so the focus is on the details and doing your job and being right.
Having said that, how do you guys end up closing those games? You guys have 3 of the 6 games in which quarterbacks have had the lowest completion percentage and yet still won against you guys. Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, and Sam Darnold. 3 of the 6 lowest completion percentage and still end up putting out the win. You guys are playing well defensively, but how do you end up closing that gap in the final stretch? I mean,
we're obviously not playing well enough. You know what I mean? So it's finding that next play. I mean, I don't know what I don't really look at completion percentages from that point of view relation to there, but I think we've just got to make sure that sometimes to me that play is in the fourth quarter, that we all see the big play or big scramble. Sometimes there's an opportunity earlier to make a play. I mean, we missed 2 picks in that game last week that we dropped that we had in our hands. You know what I mean? If we cash in one of those, is that a different game? You know what I mean? So all those opportunities, I think that's just the messaging has been when the opportunity comes, every play in, play out. It's 60 plays, it's 80 plays, whatever it is, we've got to make all those plays. And and you don't know which one's going to be the one that flips the game for you. So when we talk about attention to detail and focusing on your job, man, that's hard. Like, that's a hard play in, play out, man. What am I doing this job? Where are my eyes? What's my responsibility? Like, maintaining that focus throughout the course of the entire game is going to be what gets us back on track.
The best you can at the podium. Can you break down the Henry play and like how the difficult position he's in when he's sitting on that route and there's like options for the receiver? That touchdown that he gave up to his play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just in man coverage. You're saying from last week?
Yeah, the touchdown that he gave up, but like he's one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get sticky. You know, we got to teach our guys to get stickier on that in terms of like not stopping your feet. Just in general, anytime you're on the football field, you know, you stop your feet, it's hard to recover from that. And I think our rush has to help them there too. You know what I mean? The same thing. And it's never one person. You know, there's a little bit of time. The quarterback was able to kind of hitch through and climb the pocket a little bit. So there's a combination of things that we talk about in those situations. But just keeping our feet live and trying to get a little bit on the hip a little bit closer.
Thanks,
Thank
coach.
you.
Passing it, when you guys are in those situations and you can't really budge them and they're getting penetration, what can you do in the future to combat that and be a better red zone team? Right now, I think it's 31st.
Yeah, not good enough, obviously. Be able to every week, depending on what teams do, we're trying to find the best thing to do. We're inside the one last week. We didn't punch it in, disappointing. I think ask everybody to a man, like we got to get a yard, and we didn't do that. We didn't execute. We hurt ourselves with penalties. So we got to be better, starting with me, starting with our staff, starting with all of us players. We got to do a better job of that. Those are points at stake there, and talk about trading field goals for touchdowns, and cumulatively it adds up, and want to be better than that. So pretty straightforward there.
We hear the word a lot with not just you, but football coaches in general. The best you can, what does execute mean?
Execute means doing your job, okay, the way you're supposed to do it, with technique, with precision, and with great effort, and the way it's supposed to be done. And so penalties, poor technique, mental errors fall into those things. That's what it means.
Is there, because it feels like, what if the process up to setting them up to execute is not in check? Because a lot of times it feels like it's almost like excluding the whole practice process to where they got to do what we say they got to do. And
I take accountability for, if that's what you're implying, I take accountability starting with me on this. It's the entire operation. So we've got to do a better job. We got to, find better ways to ultimately get the ball across the goal line. Understand the intent of what you're asking, but you're asking me about execution physically. That's what it means. We also have to put ourselves in position to be able to find different ways to score. And so, it hasn't been good enough. I definitely agree with that, no doubt about it. And that's the quest, is to do that for sure. It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's how you practice. It's how you approach everything, and then ultimately, when you get an opportunity for 60 minutes on Sunday, you got to go do it. And haven't done a good enough job of that. So.
I was just going to ask you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
You all have, over multiple weeks been rotating the offensive lineman, and Lakin Thompson and Juice Scruggs out of the left guard position. And what is the difficulty in doing that same exact thing, like when you have a player like Christian Kirk and Jalen Noel, and 1 week, of course, with Christian being out, he got all of these touches, and then the next week, his routes and targets, they drop. How do you
you try to find, I think, you try to find balance. That's the question. Was it, is it perfect? No. Do some games dictate in situations in different groupings that you might go a different way? Sometimes it happens like that. We have a lot of confidence. We talked about the depth of the receiver position. We've got a lot of confidence in all those guys. So we try to create balance so we're not wearing anybody else out. We feel good about the depth of the outside to inside and the flex guys, and just trying to, obviously get whoever we can out there that's going to help us from week to week. And sometimes it gets a little more lopsided than you want, and sometimes you get it closer to how you envision it going into the game, but nothing's perfect, and we're always striving to get our guys involved. We got everybody at the game. We're going to try to use as many people as we can to help us. So
what does it take to get Jalen Noel more routes and more offensive snaps, and kind of do you hope to this game or more games going forward use him more?
Yeah, no, I mean we love Jalen Noel. Like we plan for him. He's got a role in our offense, and I mean he'll continue to do that, and he's done a really good job for us, and he'll continue to do a good job for us. So again, it's sometimes it gets a little lopsided, but it's not due to the fact that we have less faith in him versus somebody else or anybody else. We have a lot of faith in those guys, especially Jalen too.
Right.
Going into the Broncos game, Sean Payton was praising the defense, you guys' defense.
Yep.
Saying it's week 9, so the DNA is the DNA.
Yep.
What is the DNA on the flip side of this offense, and what about Sunday's offense that we saw? Would you say, to make your argument, that that's not the DNA of this offense?
Yeah, what I would say is, a physical outfit that wants to run the ball downhill, okay, starting with that with change-ups, okay. We did not run the ball well enough, okay. I would say that starting off, and then we've shown the ability to drive the football, okay. We haven't been able to finish well enough, which has been disappointing. So we've got to do a better job of that again, starting with me, standing here, okay, and we own that.
Most of the good things that you guys were able to do on Sunday would happen on the earlier downs. Y'all had a lot of success on first and second downs. Of course, you know what the numbers are for on third down.
Yep.
And specifically in the red zone. What's working for y'all on those early downs, and then what's not working for y'all in the later downs? I know you had a fourth down conversion, but the later downs and specifically in the red zone.
Sure. I think we've shown the ability to be able to hit our double teams and be able to move the ball throughout the year and have good moments where we have run the ball efficiently. I think what has hurt and hindered at times is when you get into longer yardage situations, and that could be not necessarily due to the run game. That could be swinging and missing on incompletions and being backed up in early downs, which gets you to 2nd and 10 pluses, and then you get into long yardage situations in third down, and that's a tough way to live. So trying to be able to get us into third and manageable or skip third downs is always what we're trying to obviously do. So it makes it a heck of a lot harder when you're not able to be as efficient on first and second down, to answer your question.
What does Davis do well at the quarterback spot, and where do you have confidence in his game?
He's a pro's pro. He's really smart. He approaches every single day with the right attitude. He's locked in, and he handles everything. Operation, he's into the game. He's into the game plan. He studies football. I have a lot of faith in him. I mean, he's been awesome to be around. Took a lot of reps, obviously, in the spring. So this week will be a great opportunity for him to obviously get the bulk of the reps. But I have a lot of faith in him. I mean, he's sharp. The mechanics of playing the quarterback position, he does extremely well. He's a competitor. He takes a lot of pride in it, has great rapport. He's a good communicator, and he's got good talent. He can throw the ball. He's played the game. He's played plenty of football before. So, and we're lucky to have him, and I'm excited to just continue to work through the week. He's done a really nice job. Really
Hey, Nick,
has.
what has changed,
ma'am.
if anything, about you and your approach to calling games from the beginning of the year to now? Where has there been growth or change? Have you said, I had to do this differently?
Yeah, I think really just trying to find different ways to be able to try to get us over the hump. I mean, every week we're lifting up the hood and trying to look and see what can we do differently? What can we do to help our guys out? And that'll continue. I mean, that's going to continue whether you're having success or you're not having the success that you would like. So I would say, trying to get back on track situations and staying in fewer of those. And then when you're in those, how are you going to combat those? How are teams approaching those different situations? Some teams treat second and call it 10 plus differently than other teams. So just trying to be able to have opportunities to be able to move the ball through those zones. And I think just working through that process with our staff and with our players to be able to, continue to be more efficient just in general terms, honestly.
How much of the process that you just described is altered by the health situation with the offensive line? Obviously, y'all had to try to change things on the fly with Tyus being down. Now you got a whole week to prepare with the possibility of him being out. How much of that exact process is changed or altered, kind of given the situation?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to ever make excuses. Like it's our job. It's the National Football League. Like we've got to find a way to move the ball, and we got to be able to find a way to score. So you're always mindful of where you are personnel-wise. Who's playing in what positions. Just in general terms, does it affect protection? Does it affect run game? I mean, it could affect those things. From week to week, whatever. But we've got a group of guys that have worked, quite a while and have a lot of time on task through the spring, through training camp, and our job's to adjust. And that's what we get paid to do, is to adjust and be able to find a way to play our best football when we kick it off on Sundays. So we're spearheading straight ahead and trying to get that done.
Two different fronts. One playing through an injury or a couple of injuries, but also getting some down the field in terms of Dalton Schultz and what he did for you this past Sunday. What did you think of what he's been doing?
Yeah, what was your? I didn't understand your first question. I'm sorry.
Played through some pain. Had a couple of injuries. He was on the report for, and then wound up playing well. What did you think of what Dalton did for you? What he's done all year?
Yeah, he's a pro, and I have a lot of respect for Dalton Schultz. I mean, he gives you everything he has every single day. He's in here from sun up to sundown. He cares. He gets treatment for his body. Like it's a National Football League. No one's feeling 100% or even close to 100% at this point. But he handles everything the right way. He studies the game. He plays his ass off. I have nothing but respect for him and how he approaches the game.
The thought process of going for it on your last possession, kind of take me through that if you don't mind, and then do you regret kind of the way it obviously unfolded, but the way you
Yeah, trying to obviously get a quick completion to get the drive started and basically get into our 2-minute situation. That's what we were trying to do. Didn't execute it well enough and stalled out, and that's not what you want to do. But trying to get quick completion to get us going, get in rhythm, be able to get on the ball and get into our offense where we can get our cleats in the ground and be able to run core plays. That's what we were trying to do. Yes.
You know, when you see like CJ, a guy you obviously have a relationship, have the injury that he had, you know, I just wonder, does that, not that the play had anything to do with it, but does that perhaps maybe change your approach to how you might use him? Does it make you think about it at all?
Yeah, I mean, again, I have a lot of trust in CJ. It's unfortunate. With him, what happened. And I think from my standpoint, I think we're always trying to talk about being mindful for player safety and stuff like that. We always talk about that. So being smart when you are scrambling and stuff and doing the best you can. And obviously he didn't see that coming. So we just try to educate those situations and, the same way you're coaching on the other side of the ball to be able to protect guys too. But yeah, we'll always talk about being smart. We'll always talk about when you need to slide and all those things. And he's done a really good job of that. Like, he's very mindful of that, and he's a competitor, and he's utilized his legs and done a good job and been smart with the decisions that he's made.
You're, as an offensive coach, what are your thoughts on the league's rule that the defender is having to protect his prey, if you will, and the prey is kind of going down with it, like just the rule itself? What are your thoughts on it, and how can you fix it and help it?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on any league officiating or get into that whole world. I think player safety is big. I think that it's important, and I think that I'll leave it at that.
Some late turnovers decided the game the last time you guys played the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Just kind of what needs to happen to avoid those against an opportunity defense like that.
Don't turn the ball over, man. Like, simple as that. They do a really good job. Mix a lot of zone coverages in. They have a lot of sets of eyes on the ball. So, if you're not precise, if you're not, if there's tips and there's overthrows and things like that and loose balls, then they capitalize. They pursue the ball. They're very well coached. So being able to take care of the ball, we've made progress in that area. We got to keep making progress in that area and be mindful of that. But they thrive on those things, and got to be smart with the football for sure. And thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Great to see you. It's all good. Hi, everybody. For the divisional game here versus Jacksonville, we have to control field position. Go ahead and address their kicker. He's a freak, and he kicked a 68-yard field goal, so field position is at an all-time premium now that we know he kicks from the 50-yard line. So that's going to be, the distinct mission for our special teams unit is to, when we're covering, how much can we back them up and give our defense what we consider a long field to midfield, and then, can we shorten it for us? So, and then, for our kicker, Kaimi being down this week, we were able to bring in Matt Wright. So got some great familiarity with him. You guys actually have seen him. He was on Carolina's 90-man when they were at the joint practice here. And then, have played against him multiple times last preseason and in other games as well. So he's done an outstanding job, and really everywhere a kicker who hasn't landed a full-time job has been, you're looking for familiarity. So my first resource was Tommy Townsend, who's held for him when he was in Kansas City. So brought Tommy up to the office. What do you know about Matt? And then makes ourselves more familiar to get up and running off the ground with an operation on a short notice. So excited to have Matt here, and we'll find out if we can control field position against Jaguars when we need it most. So I'll take your guys' questions.
What's impacted the most when they do have a kicker like that from your perspective? What you do versus what you don't do?
Yeah, and every time we give the defense, hey, this is the line to defend at the end of a half or for a game-winning attempt, like that becomes a nuance when you're talking about your offensive possession leading into that. So how are you going to handle the midfield decision-making in the situational football areas of the field? They totally change. And then for us, we've got to find a way to knock one down. We have to find a way because, their shots on goal ability just went up. Steph Curry changed basketball. Brandon Aubrey's changing football. Now it's obviously permeating amongst, to the rest of the league. So, for Cam Little, that's changing the Jacksonville's midfield offense, if you will. So for us, got to find a way to knock one down and help our team out.
To that point, since you mentioned knocking one down, how does Nico Autry sort of change y'all's makeup and identity when he's out there, and who is the guy to step up if he's for some reason down?
Yeah, I taught Nico Autry everything he knows on how blocking kicks. Man, there's a knack to certain things, and he's an impressive individual. But just like anything else, like owning your role, the whole football team, like it's the greatest sport in the world because there's 6'8" guys, there's 5'8" guys, like there's so many different styles and types of human beings that can play our game, but they got to come together in one. But if you can find a niche and a role on every specific thing, and that's what I do on special teams, like he owns his role of, I know how to really crease an A gap or a B gap last week and get my hand in the ball flight at the right time. So he's big, explosive, powerful, and there's all kinds of guys in there that are the reason he was able to get through a week ago. And each time, each week, each field goal front that you're going to get, you want to attack it in different ways. But of course, it's always about putting your playmakers at the point of attack. He's done a good job of that for us.
What's the mechanics of, if they near midfield, of having your punt return ready, of having your kick block ready, and kind of, do you wait, I'm sure, for them to declare? Does somebody help you with that? Hey, they're sending out.
For sure. Yep, that's it. That is the fire drill exchange of, not a hurry up field goal fire drill, but that's the exchange that you need to be organized, precise. We have that's where our headsets come in, flipping over to offense, defense, letting those guys know if it's a defensive safe look. Having our assistant special teams coach down with the return man, and then as many eyes and ears as you can. So those three-way alerts happen on offense, whether you're going for it on fourth down, when you're punting it, or you do get into striking range to kick a field goal because you want to operate cleanly. And then we have potentially 3 units ready as we look across the field, and we're waiting for their substitution and ID what unit's going onto the field. So that happens a lot, and communication's at a premium. We've had those mistakes before. We try to be as clean as we can with it, of getting those exchanges right. It's not an intense, but it's a focus that the whole team needs to be bought into.
I know we've done it before, including 2 times this year, but is it difficult to come off the street and be the kicker for a team just immediately?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think, heck, that's, a lot of pressure, but kudos to him. I think and that's part of the charm and the draw about Matt was he's stepped in as a pinch hitter. Like, that's what he has made his mark to this point in his career. And for him, like, what another opportunity, come out here and hopefully kick us through a divisional win. So him coming in here and just having that calm and that consistency, that's led him to being able to, when he comes in there, not to wig out, and just being used to, hey, I do my job consistently daily, whether I'm on the team or off the team. And when the lights are on, it doesn't change for him. I'm excited to see if he can do that for us.
Along those same lines, when you look at a player that's coming in like that, there's a difficulty for you to get the special teams ready for a player that they're not used to. You can do certain things with Kaimi. A lot of people have played with Kaimi for a very long time. So, not field goals and extra points, but as far as kickoffs are concerned.
Yeah, it's a great question. And for me, I've got to tailor, like, I can't come in and square peg the round hole just because this is the way we do things. Not everybody's tailored for that, and vice versa. So I believe, I've mentioned this in different situations or circumstances, that putting those guys in the best place to be successful is that's our assignment as a coach. So we will tailor it to whether it's a return game player, a blocker, putting him on the right matchup. Whether it's a coverage player and getting him in the right slotted lane so that way he can play and accentuate his abilities, or if it's a kicker or a specialist, playing the call he wants. We've had Ty Zentner here to fill in as a punter on short notice before. Hey, what kind of punt do you feel best with in each area of the field? We try to call the game accordingly and give those guys some autonomy to really speak openly to me, man, like, hey, you're on the grass with your cleats, not me. I'm just a spectator. So you tell me how you want to do this, and we can try and blend our philosophies together and make sure it's clean and crisp so you can go out there and play free of mind on Sunday.
a chance to talk to Jalen Smith after the game. Man. I asked him about recovering that muffed punt. I know that that's not as easy as it looks on television. What are some of the processes that you go through in order to teach them to, because that ball could bounce out and the trajectory of the ball could take it either way?
Yeah, for me, first to address Jalen, like, drafted Jalen knowing that he solves a lot of roster manipulation problems. He is a dynamic, young special teams asset that also has a bright future playing defensive football, and he's being used already in packages. So, for J-Rock, losing him, for a bit here and just hoping for, his healthy return as fast as possible. He's got a unique asset, a unique skill set. So for me, when we talk about the first thing to making a great play is you got to be in the right spot. Like, if you're not down there fronting up the returner, and we see this all the time, you guys see it, fly by gunner, punter fair catches the ball, and he muffs it, and the gunner's behind him because he, I don't want to say took the rep off, but he eased up, got casual. So you need to you need to be down there and in position in case something were to happen, and that pressure, that warrants that returner to think about you being right there on his toes. So did just that. Way to come to balance, great job. And then, we teach all those situations like that is not a returnable ball. Do not scoop that. Jump on it because it's a muff. Jump on the ball. You can't pick that up and run. So trying to pick that up causes you to maybe not clasp it as quickly. So you did a great job of knowing the coaching points right there and jumping on that thing, covering it up tight. So big play for us. Ended up giving us points before half.
About the fire drill aspect at midfield when it happens and having everybody ready. Is there anything that you can shine a light on that the other team does to kind of confuse you about who they're going to send out?
Yeah. And I was kind of referencing that. I'll talk about that later, another team. But, there are certain things you are and aren't allowed to do of giving some fake substitutions and try to trick them a little bit. And for us, we've had, quarterbacks jog off and then sprint back on with the field goal unit. And then which unit do you want to put on the field? So the first thing is the NFL allows for the refs. They will hold the substitution, giving, if we're on the defense or the return side, giving you allotted amount of time so you don't get, kind of screwed over there. And for us, we have to be razor sharp. I mean, you have to know what personnel are going on so you can match yours. So for us, it's when they truly declare and the ref is holding it, you could send your team out, and then you got to get out and get set so you can get your cleats on the ground and play ball. But for us, it's just readiness to play football at all points in time. So hope that answered your question. Okay? All right, guys. See you.
Thanks, Coach.
Give us like a minute, guys, and we'll bring you guys in.